Right, welcome back to our special coverage. This is breaking news that's just come in the hostilities between Iran and Israel, where Israeli army, according to reports, has now struck an underground missile facility in West Iran. The Iranian media has said that air defenses have been activated in Tehran and in 6 other provinces. This is the latest bit of information that has, of course, just come in. And the Israeli army says that it has struck underground Iranian missile facility in western Iran. And the Iranian media, however, has responded that air defenses have been activated in Tehran in about 6 other provinces. Besides this, it's also being said that in western Iran's Khorramabad, that contained the surface-to-surface and cruise missiles, this is the area that the Israelis have reportedly struck. Now, this is an important site that was even apparently featured in a video by the Iranian regime in the past. The military spokesperson, Brigadier General Efin Defrin, told the journalist, referring to the footage that was aired by Iran's Revolutionary Guards earlier this year, showing what it described as a new underground missile facility. This is what is being reported at this moment, where the Israeli military says that it has struck an underground facility in western Iran's Khorramabad that contained some surface-to-surface and cruise missiles. Remember, the entire crux around which the Iranian military deterrence revolves around are its missiles that it has in its arsenal. If the Israelis are able to in some way shut off the Iranian missiles, try and attack them in the place where they are before they are launched, that is going to be a bit of a game changer. That, of course, is the strategy that the Israelis would, of course, be resorting to. The Iranians have said that they've got hundreds and thousands of these missiles, that they can manufacture these missiles, and they're also turning up their production of these missiles. And it now remains to be seen as to how all of this progresses. The air defense systems have been activated in Tehran and in 6 other provinces across the nation, and the Israelis claim that they have now struck one underground facility where the Iranians have stored their missiles in western Tehran in an area called Khorramabad that contained surface-to-surface and other cruise missiles. Now, surface-to-surface missiles are the most deadly variant. This is what can cause a lot of destruction and reduce buildings to rubble. That's the kind of missile, because of the heavy quantity of payload that it can carry. These are the bigger, heavier missiles, the surface-to-surface missiles which the Iranians have in their arsenal. It remains to be seen what the extent of the damage is, because remember, you can also expect the Iranians to now hit back at the Israeli military sites. The Israeli Air Force, which has been so actively carrying out these operations, one can, of course, expect the Iranians to target the Israeli air bases as they have done in the past. Now, this cycle of attack and counter-attack that started with the Israeli Operation Rising Lion has again resumed. These are the latest bit of information that has now come in, where the Iranian media says that air defense systems in Tehran and 6 other provinces in Iran have all been activated. And remember, the Israelis have been very actively seeking out and targeting the Iranian air defense systems. How good are the Iranian air defense systems? We do not know. But these are now going to be put to their test. They are being tested in the last 3 days. The Israelis have also claimed that they've been able to establish almost complete and clear air dominance over the Iranian skies. And the Iranian strategy is, of course, to hit back at the Israelis with these missiles that they've got in their underground bunkers. And it remains to be seen how effective this particular strategy is going to be. On the one hand, the Americans are asking the Iranians to come back to the negotiating table. The French President Emmanuel Macron is indicating that the best way for a de-escalation is to come back to a negotiating table. But remember, the Iranians were at the negotiating table. They were lulled into a certain level of complacency when they were negotiating with the Americans. They did not think that Israel would go ahead and attack in this manner, because Donald Trump had been repeatedly saying that he had asked Israel not to stage a kinetic attack on Iran. But the Israelis have done it, and the Israeli Prime Minister this evening has made it abundantly clear that he had both the blessings and also the participation of the Americans in the attacks that the Israelis, of course, carried out as part of Operation Rising Lion. And it now remains to be seen as to what the extent of the damage is when the Israelis say when they have struck one of the underground missile facilities in western Iran, a place called Khorramabad, is what has apparently been struck by the Israelis. We, of course, await more details on this. This is a clear escalation. On the one hand, the Americans indicate that there is still a possibility of talks, although Oman has now come out and said that there won't be any talks tomorrow that were originally scheduled to happen in Muscat. The question is obviously this: at a time when the Israelis have gone ahead and staged attack after attack, is there a possibility of any kind of an off-ramp? And what will the Iranian response, of course, be? And when the Israelis have now made it abundantly clear that one of their key strategies is going to be to target these underground missile facilities of the Iranians to try and take out the Iranian missiles before they are even launched towards the Israeli cities, because the Iranian missiles have shown themselves to be pretty effective in the manner in which they've struck and caused a bit of devastation in Tel Aviv, and they were used in the Iranian attacks yesterday evening. And it now remains to be seen as to what the Iranian response is expected to be in the aftermath of the Israelis having struck Khorramabad in western Iran. Now remember, the Israelis have also been attacking several other aspects of the Iranian infrastructure. Iran's oil and gas industry has also come under attack. We brought you information a little while back that air defense systems have been activated at Bandar Abbas, one of the key ports of the Iranians. It now remains to be seen as to what the entire scope of the Israeli attack is likely to be, because the Israelis are not holding back. This is an all-out war, and one can, of course, expect that the two nations could go up the escalatory ladder. The Iranians hit back at Tel Aviv and a few other parts, including Jerusalem, and it now remains to be seen as to how the Iranians, of course, are going to respond tonight.